Yeah, Mr. Karun Malhotra, Director Murata Manufacturing Company Limited, and Mr. Lim Yen, Managing Director Murata, Japan. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, we would like to know, first of all, we would like to know more about your products.
Murata Manufacturing is world's number one leading manufacturer of a broad line of passive components, so which components, devices, and modules. With we have a broad line, but if I just classify them, we are like multi-layer capacitors, inductors, EMI filters, then wireless communication modules, and power supplies, and so on.
And what are the application areas of your kind of products?
More than half of our products are used in the mobile communication area, and then the other strong areas are PC and white goods and automotive.
So, what is the potential of your kind of product in India, sir?
I mean, we are the bread and butter of the electronics industry, and so our products are used everywhere. So the potential in India is very high.
High in the sense means what target you have set for yourself for your kind of products?
I don't know like if we have set any targets, but we know like as India moves up into the value chain and as their products also become more advanced in electronics, they will need our components. So we are looking forward and we are hoping that the Indian manufacturing, local manufacturing, and the consumption goes up and then that will provide us more opportunities for sale. Yeah.
We are talking about make in India, and a lot of investment is coming from Japan, from Taiwan, from China, and the rest of the world as well. Last a few days back, Minister says that the 1 lakh crore investment is coming to India. So we think the manufacturing will happen in India maybe 2 years down the line. So what do you see your target would be, or what target you have set for yourself 2 years down the line?
I mean, we as far as sales is concerned or marketing concerned, we set our targets in terms of what share we can achieve. For example, in ceramic capacitors, our share is about 35% of the world market. In communication module between 60 and 70. In shock sensors, it's 100%. So we want to be the leading provider. We are the leading provider of components and passes in the world. So when the Indian market or the manufacturers in India, be it automotive, be it white goods or PCs or wireless IoT, whatever, we want to be the leading provider of our components and solutions.
So what is the market share as of now?
Market share where? In India?
Yes.
Maybe Alex.
Well, basically as of now, a lot of components are basically devices are basically import from outside. So it's kind of difficult to judge the ratio right now because important thing in India, we are focusing on more on designing. So to get our part designed in, and eventually procurement is done as of now is outside India. So we are also looking at with the Make in India soon, and when the ecosystem is developed, then all the local manufacturing will be happening. That's where we will be able to increase our market share.
So you have a design center in India, or you have design center outside India?
No, we don't have a design center in India.
We don't have a design center in India.
Are you planning one?
Not in the near future. No.
Not in the near future.
No.
So since the manufacture is about to happen in India, maybe. So do you contemplate of setting up of units in India as well?
No, not for the foreseeable future. Not because you see our business model, but we are very high volume manufacturing, and which requires very high investment in terms of R&D and also equipment. So it's not very easy to just move. We say like Murata is like shipping close to 3 billion or more than 3 billion just capacitors every day. So compared to that, so it's very difficult, or it really brings us no value to bring that factories in here. So, as we said, our first goal would be, to go back to your question of share. If you just take capacitors, there are many different type of capacitors, but still a lot of industries in India are using old type of capacitors, while the rest of the world has already moved on to our advanced ceramic capacitors. So our first goal is to also convince our customers to move to more advanced technologies, which will allow India to compete on a world scale. And when that happens, automatically the customers will use our products. So we don't think so there is enough critical mass in India, at least for the next foreseeable future, where they would require manufacturing of those components to be done in India. Murata could do something in manufacturing in a very different area, depending on how business progresses here, but not for these components.
You said that you want to be the leader in your your segment, right? So what are your plans for the Indian market?
What exactly do you mean plans for Indian market?
Your sales and marketing plans.
Well, basically for us, we go into stages. As I said now, first step, we know that to make it India, definitely first innovation will need to come in. So first will be design activity. That's why we are positioning ourselves in India. First is to support the local design needs. Then that will be whatever the customer needs. We provide them with technical support, with the solution they require to make it the new design. And eventually, when the local production start, that's where our sales unit will be able to do it. So now we are providing both. The design activity help them for the R&D to develop. Eventually, if the Make in India comes through, then our actual sales activity will start.
Are you in touch with the design engineers as well in terms of promoting your products?
Yes. So we are providing technical support to those local design center to able to use our solution onto their board.
So are you satisfied on the grounds of the infrastructure we have in India?
Well, infrastructure is always a challenging factor, right? Especially for manufacturing. And of course, this is the area that we see that definitely in future is improving. So this is very fundamental because we are dealing with device maker, right? And the device maker, when they produce a product, and things will need to move around, and power and all this road is important. So this is one of the important factor that eventually, if India improve, I think that will benefit everybody.
We would like to know more about your R&D capacity, R&D thing, and also the production capacity and the specialty of the manufacturing units you have back in Japan.
There are many questions here, so I'll just capacity and all is a very difficult question to answer because we have many plants and capacities vary. But I can tell you that 90% of our products are sold outside Japan. Our customers are outside Japan. And over 70% of our production is done in Japan, manufactured. And that basically tells you, and we are very high share, that means the customers appreciate our products. And so we make high performance products, very affordable, but that all requires very high technology. Therefore, we can still be in Japan. We have very, very excellent quality controls, very high yields. The manufacturing is very high end. And in order to achieve that, we have to support it with very high level R&D. And Murata is one of the very few companies in components or in any other industry who have constantly invested between 6 and 7% of their sales in R&D every year. So this year is going to be close to $700 million. But for the last 10 years, every year we spend at least $500 million in R&D. And that R&D, because most of our production and everything is in Japan, is still located mainly in Japan. But now, as we understand that a lot of different economies are emerging, we now have a project within Murata to globalize our R&D. And as part of that, India is also part of that. So we are like interacting with IITs or other research institutions. We like to start slow. We like to have some small success and then build on that. So maybe 10 years from now, almost like like right now, almost all our R&D is in Japan. Maybe 10 years from now, quite a big fraction might also be overseas.
Can you highlight more on your educational interaction and the R&D things?
Education interact. You mean with IITs?
Your association with the IITs
Oh, I
and
mean, we started talking to the IITs about 2 or 3 years ago because they are a premier institution. They have talent, and we also need to take a very long-term view. We want some very talented engineers to come and also work for Murata. We also want to but IITs traditionally have never focused on R&D till recently, and now the government is also pushing them to do R&D. They will have, they're still in the world rankings in R&D quality. IITs don't rank any very high compared to other American, UK, Europe or Japanese universities. But we think that they're very capable, and with the focus that they will certainly go up, and we want to be a part of their growth, and something which will also help Murata to grow business in India. So that's our strategy.
you mean to say that your project, the Murata's project on R&D is going on in the IITs in India?
We are talking to some of them to see if we can have some R&D projects started. We are in discussions right now.
We would like to know more about your the manufacturing strength back in Japan and also the company's strength.
The company's strength and the manufacturing strength are one and the same thing, but Murata is ours. We call it like we have the complete system in control. In the sense we have very close contact with our customers, the complete network, value network, down to very strong manufacturing, supported by equally strong R&D, and then even downstream we have a very strong logistics group, because we supply to so many customers around the world, so many factories, and very good quality systems. So as a whole, as a manufacturing ecosystems, we are a total company. So that's all the parts work together very well. So that's our strength. We are not just like in EMS, very strong in manufacturing and then not the rest. So we from the customer needs, from the design house, knowing a customer needs, to delivering the end product to their manufacturing line, we are very good in the whole process.
Murata has a global business, right? So what is the difference between doing business in India and the rest of the world?
Basically, it depends for India, it's a very dynamic market. So basically, there are a lot of some design activity here. There are also some local manufacturing here. So you got to look at, when you look at India, you got to look at different segment needs. Certain segment might require technical support and designing in, where their procurement may not be in India. And certain segment, they might be using designings from outside of India, that they do the manufacturing here. So as a sales unit, we need to look at different segment needs. And we have the technical support ability, we have the logistic support ability. So depending on each customer and each segment needs, then we need to cater to them separately. So this is something unique in.
Any advantage do you have in India?
Well, basically we are a global company. So we have the whole supply chain all over the world. So whether being the customer, if they are just doing the designing in India, and we are able to help them to design in, and that reference design was somehow we procure outside India, then again we have our global unit to support. Similarly, vice versa. If there's some project that need to be built in India, some design could be done outside India, and we have the kind of knowledge, and we are now present in India. So if they want to materialize it, want to manufacture it, and we have the local support to cater to them. So that is the advantage of being a global company.
I think to add on to that, there is no real difference between India and rest of the world. India has very talented people, the language is not an issue, but the whole thing is that the electronics industries is not as developed as in other countries. Like when I'm to other countries like US, China or Europe. So even today we were talking to the Department of Electronics, like India's $65 billion is India's consumption of electronics, out of which one-third is manufactured locally. And even the government officials say, and that too is not very high-level products. So it is like, for us, India is a very important market, but unless and until the Indian electronics industry comes up, and that's very good for us. So it is no different than any country.
Back to the government policies of India and the government's effort bringing this electronic industry to a level, right? So, what are your opinion that how the government's effort is means are they on the right track, or do you think there is a little bit improvement or improvisation from your side?
That's a question which can probably take hours to discuss. So I will not mention more than that, saying that we can see, as some announcements are made recently, that the government is trying to have more and more electronics industry come in. But personally, as for me personally, we would like to see some more details of the government strategy of the Make in India policy, at least in electronics. Because, I mean, without going into much details, like what kind of technology are they trying to get, the latest generation or one old generation, and what are the plans and all. So those details are not, at least in my knowledge, very public, so it's very difficult to comment.
Yeah. So anything we would like to tell to your audience through this platform of Yearly Times TV?
Since this is, I'm working for a Japanese company and all, and Prime Minister Modi also has that look east kind of policy. I would say that for the manufacturing industry, that India should really very seriously spend time into learning how the Japanese companies work and why they are successful. And I think this process will take time. The results are not going to be overnight. This is a very long process. It's a marathon rather than a sprint. So there should be, the whole ecosystem has to be built right from the education, not just for white collars, for the blue collar education, middle level and all that. This has to be a very long-term strategy, and I think the Indians are capable of doing this. But it's just that we have to now learn from the masters first. Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.